So again, like I said, man, I'm tired of writing novels to you, man. So it's just easy for me to, excuse me, I'll do it like this. So I gonna get with it. No, it doesn't mean at all that the person thinks they know everything there is to know about a particular subject. That is only your opinion. In my opinion, it only means that they know that a capacitor can't be used in place of a resistor, is all. And I wouldn't hesitate in telling the person to try it. Therefore, you can't assume that one wouldn't try to teach the person about a particular subject just because they say they can't learn from someone who clearly isn't acquainted with a particular subject. Even more than that, sir, I would tell them to try it on a piece of junk using very low amperage and volts as to not harm themselves. So you just can't jump to a conclusion that a person is more interested in being right, nor are they uh, are thinking anyone is unworthy or capable of learning. You always got to put these, like I say, these bunch of words together. These, like you know this and that and what have you, and all this philosophical rubbish is what is basically what I call it. Uh, and in fact, in regards to me, you can ask anyone I've talked to at any age. I constantly tell people that we all have the same intellectual capacity. It's just what people choose to put in their heads. I said all of the time. So, on that account, I advise you to be more concerned with your own inner thoughts instead of trying to delve into the inner thoughts of others. Because it's impossible for man to do, since people's thoughts are wildly variable, especially concerning me, because you'd be wrong uh, about me 90% of the time. Try to, uh, you know, think what I'm not saying you trying to think what I'm saying, but you putting it out there and you talking to me. And if you're not talking to me, then honestly, I really don't care about your opinions about what people try to do or not trying to teach people. And I don't care. You get it? Jesus. Anyway, now the differences between what we think we're doing and what we're actually doing. Okay, that's a pretty well known concept, right? And it's really prevalent amongst those who think they're godly and they're not, or think they're doing God's work and they're not. So yeah, then I never said nor implied that I thought just because a person's name is mentioned that the book is automatically okay. I never said that. Especially since the entire U.S. educational curriculum that has been force fed to us and our children has been lies. So I'm well aware of that. Or as they call it, his story, as they put it. So, I remember back in 75 when talking to an elderly Caucasian female. I just read Bearing My Hearted Wounded Knee and was talking about it. And she overheard me and was talking about how the quote Indians, which they are not, by the way, they're Native Americans, Indians in the freaking subcontinent of India. But anyway, talking about how they were attacking the wagon trains. Yeah, because they were coming to take their homes, maybe. You think that's why they was attacking them? And in my youth, I was rooting for the cowboys over the Indians too. And why was that, Mike? Because our educational system taught us to believe in white superiority and white privilege. Simple as that, no debating it. And you say the level of deception these days is a level of deception, not before, just now. Please. Oh, but God forbid you now teach our kids that it's wrong, and along with an ungodly concept, quote, for there is no partiality with God, Romans 2:11. And Jesus said, quote, God is spirit, and his worshipers must worship in spirit and in truth. Not lies covering up what a human being hater Andrew Jackson was, and those human beings being Native Americans. And we got this. It's according to it's going to tell you about 130 million adults in the U.S. have low literacy skills, according to a Gallup analysis of the data from the U.S. Department of Education. This means more than half of Americans between the age of 16 and 74, 54%, read below the equivalent of a sixth grade level. And these are the people who need to decide what their children are taught, according to you, right? And frankly, your idea on this particular subject is nonsensical to the nth degree, and actually borderlining on the crazy, if not all the way. So let me see if I understand your position correctly. So parents, some of who hasn't read a book since high school, and even if then, well, I should say if then, because they may have used Cliff Notes for the assignment, right? They may know little of history other than what they saw on, quote, based on the true story movies, are the ones who should decide what a public school should teach. Those are the ones who you say need to decide, right? So one community or state is teaching one thing, another state is teaching another. No standard curriculum. And those parents you're speaking of, are they going to be all in agreement? If not, I guess the majority wins, right? Then what if the majority is only want uh white American history to be taught, or only black history, or Hispanic, or Asian? Or what about you might have a majority of a satanic community, only wanting their kids to learn of the virtues of Satanism? Or better yet, don't teach any history at all. Just reading, writing, and arithmetic. That would be like educational pandemonium. No, that's right. The people who would be put in charge of a standard curriculum can give suggestions. They can give suggestions. So before, when we were taught only white heroes' history, that was not a problem. Only when Black history or people with different lifestyles are introduced, then it becomes a problem. So we can lie about the great virtues of white folks in history, but can't tell the truth about their shortcomings or the realities of different lifestyles. And lastly, I have to say this. A while back, you made the self proclamation that you are, quote, growing every day, unquote. Yet you've been barking the same kind of right wing propaganda since 2008 when we hooked back up. So only growth I've seen is growing deeper into the abyss of a reduction of critical thinking. That's the only growth I've seen. While I have gone 180 into a ministry, leaps ahead of where my mind was in '08. So, man, to me, it's like you have become a combination of sadness and annoyance. It's like, who do you talk to? Where do you get your information from? And the people you talk to, do you get any blowback? Do you listen to anybody who's not in accord with what I see as just as I just um, displayed, just plain nutty thinking, nutty thinking. This community teach this, that community teach that, this community want this community want it. No standard, just whatever. What a population that half of them can't read want. Yeah, that's really a good plan. Adios.